Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Good morning to each and every single one of you. Rumors today that after Cristiano Ronaldo was tested positive for CV-19, Manchester United could now be without Bruno Fernandes for the next 4 Premier League games due to the requirement to self-isolate for 14 days. That is report number one. There are contrary reports to that, sometimes within the same articles that are claiming he'll be missing for those games, that he may be exempt from that under the UK regulations due to being in an athletic bubble. That's the phrase that is used. We're going to delve into that story for you this morning. Would it be fair? Would it be right? He has, by the way, Bruno Fernandes, tested negative twice since Cristiano Ronaldo tested positive for CV-19. The Newcastle game, Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea games await in the coming week or so for Manchester United. It has been a torrid beginning to the 2020-21 campaign. Bruno Fernandes has been at the heart of some of the turmoil with his fallout with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And this is the last thing that the Norwegian Man United legend needs in this situation, is to lose another key player, with Cavani completely and utterly unavailable for the Newcastle game. And of course, Anthony Martial getting himself sent off against Tottenham. United have to bounce back this weekend. They could now be without one of the best creative and best attacking midfield players in the Premier League. I want your views and opinions on what you think is going to happen. Smash the like button right about now. Welcome back to the channel. Skype lines, as ever, are open. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you're thinking and you're feeling on this. First comment here says, international break is so bad and stupid, it's funny. Do you know what? I do feel a bit like that. It's also the lack of clarity around all of this that makes zero sense. A friend of the show, Jonathan, whose surname I always forget how to pronounce, has told us that Jonathan Schragner has said that he's tweeted this yesterday evening saying that he doesn't believe that Bruno is going to have to self-isolate when he gets back. But then you get claims in multiple newspapers, the Daily Mail, the Express, the Sun, the Star, and a number of Portuguese outlets that are all claiming that he will have to. We'll delve into some of the information regarding that in a few moments. But as I say, do me a big favor and hit that like and share button. It's really, really important. Twisted Bubba says it's only a few games. Bruno will be back. It is only a few games. If Bruno has to miss these games, you're right. It's a handful of games out of the whole season. But Man United, especially against Newcastle on Saturday, have to win. They have to win to take any kind of confidence into the Paris Saint-Germain game. To try and get to an extent, Oli needs to try and get the monkey off his back. And the media they're clinging on for dear life. They're going to make things very, very difficult. United have to win. And without Bruno Fernandes, that's going to be very, very difficult. There's a comment here that says, if you test negative, you still can spread the virus. I don't know how true that. If you haven't got the virus, I don't know how you can spread it. But I'm not an expert, so maybe that is the case. The midfield doesn't matter if you let in more than you create and put away. But it matters still. Say I don't care who plays in midfield or up front because I don't trust our defence. It's flawed. It's flawed logic. But okay. A comment here says, Oli is the only answer to United's problem on the pitch. There is no reality. Sorry. There is no... I don't know what you mean. There's no literally no other man. There is literally no other manager these players can trust and look up to. Oli has won everything there with this club. Listen, I don't know how true that is. I wish that was true. But I'm not sure that it is. One of our members here, Chad, it says Chad and Cyrone II, says Jose Mourinho makes no sense. How can you spread a virus you don't have? Oh, you mean Jose Mourinho, the guy that made the comment? Okay. I thought you meant the real manager. I was like, what's he talking about? What's Jose done? I don't know. Let's delve into what one of the articles here says, using context. It says here, Man United could be without Bruno Fernandes for 4 games as a result of Cristiano Ronaldo testing positive. The Portuguese star, who's 26, they always put the age in. I always find it weird why they're telling us their age. 26, may have to abide by UK government guidelines for a 14-day quarantine after coming into contact with an infected person. It says Fernandes and Ronaldo were part of the same Portugal team that drew 0-0 with France on Saturday. Does that not also mean that Martial has to, even though Martial's banned, would that not mean that Martial has to also isolate? I don't know. And also anyone else that was on that pitch? What about all the Wolves players? Why is that not being reported on? Why not all the Chelsea? Like anyone who is in the French or the Portuguese team surely is now in the same situation. This is Portuguese outlets speculate that Fernandes, who has since given negative tests, could be made to quarantine. Regulations in the UK state anyone who has been in contact with a confirmed case must self-isolate for 2 weeks. However, this is the irony. Their article says, however, United and Fernandes could be exempt from this because the rule does not apply to footballers who have been in athletic bubbles. This is the madness of these stories, people. The headline says he's going to have to quarantine, but within the article, they're saying we don't know. They're saying, I have no idea if this is true. And this is, what journalist is this? Sam Morgan. Why don't you just contact the Premier League and ask? Why don't you just contact someone who knows and ask? It's what they do to us. This is what they do to us every time. It's crazy. They also go on to say United will already be without Cavani because Cavani is within those regulations because he hasn't been inside an athletic bubble before signing for Manchester United. But Fernandes' situation is different because the striker was not in it, because Cavani was not in a secure location. Fernandes could, in theory, even start in Portugal's National League clash on Sweden tonight. Yeah, by the way, if Bruno starts tonight, he plays for Man United at the weekend. The more I read this is baloney, bruv. Baloney. That's what I'm saying here. Man like Mo's on the phone line with us now. Man like Mo, what you saying, bruv?
You're right, yeah?
I'm good, brother. What you saying?
No, and man, I know I've heard about Bruno.
I don't think it's true, bruv. I don't think it's true.
If it is, I would love to see Van der Beek start, man.
Yes.
I'd see him on the show start, you know what I mean?
That is true. So on that, wouldn't it be the irony in this? You know, when you get all these, because Donny van der Beek has been voted as one of the worst transfer signings this summer by the media. Right? I don't get it because they say he's not necessary. Can you imagine he has to start the next 4 games and ball?
They don't know what squat depth means, innit, bro? You know what I mean? They don't know what it means. All right, say right now, Bruno just got injured. Yeah, we're gonna rely on Scott McTominay. You gotta get someone, you know what I mean? So it's better than nothing, you know. I'd rather have him than Scott McTominay. So you know what I mean? So we can rotate.
No, but I understand. Like for me, I feel like I'd be gutted if he's out. But at the same time, I'm more than trust Donny van der Beek coming into that position. The area for me that it damages and is going to hurt is the depth element because we'll lose squad depth. You know, having a Van der Beek or a Bruno or a Pogba to come on from the bench, I think is amazing for Manchester United. Why would it not be? They're 3 top-class midfield players. To lose him is sad. However, like you say, it puts us in a position where we can give Donny van der Beek the opportunity to go out there and shine and do what he does. I think the Donny van der Beek role is interesting as well because we're going to be without Cavani and we're going to be without Martial. Part of me that if Ollie can find a way of making it work, almost playing Donny van der Beek off of a Greenwood or a Rashford through the middle, I think could be really potent for us.
What about Gallo? You want to start?
I wouldn't. Maybe start Gallo, but I'm not too sure. But I would like to see that whatever we do, if it's a Gallo or Rashford, I don't think Greenwood's ready to be a lone striker by himself. We know Rashford isn't good enough as a lone striker, and Gallo has proven himself to be under the standard. So I think we need to play Donny van der Beek close to whoever plays up there in a kind of 10 role to be in and around that box with them. And we saw that in the game against Luton in the League Cup. And who's the other team we played in the League Cup? I want to say Brighton. Donny van der Beek touched the ball in the box more than the striker. And I think we need to utilize that aspect of Donny in this game. I think Donny van der Beek's got to start even if Bruno Fernandes is fit. And I want to see him utilized right next to a striker in those areas. But it proves why we were right to sign a player of Donny's ilk, because you're always going to have these situations where players fall out. Mac's on the line with us now. Stay with us, please, Mo. Mac, what do you think about this Bruno rumor? Do you think the media are just trying to add more fuel to the United anger and rage? Because I read four reports this morning.
I've got to read it, but from what you're saying, that's what they.
Every article I've read five of them, bro,
Yeah,
and they all say the same thing. He's going to miss the games, and then there's a little line in every article that says, "But he might be exempt because of the bubble rule." And I'm like, why would you not do the research before you print?
well, you know what the thing about journalism nowadays? If you're trying to be a young up and coming journalist, you could shine because the quality of journalism nowadays is on the floor.
Yeah.
Absolutely on the floor, like no research, nothing, just clickbaity thing. It's just on the floor. So yeah, that's what they're all saying. They don't even know whether this is true or not. It's like, bro, why put the story out? Why not do your due diligence and find out whether it's 100% true, whether he's playing or not?
Exactly, and that's that's part of the reason we exist as a YouTube channel. Because what happens is, what I find with channels like us, we put the headline out. He's set to miss these games. Like we ask the question, we do the title in, and then we go through the articles and we read them and we challenge elements. And that's my point about the articles. They literally, and I'll read it. This is from a different newspaper where it says, UK regulations state that anyone who's been into contact with a confirmed case must self-isolate. However, athletes that are in secure bubbles are exempt from this. So as far as I'm aware, as long as he tests negative before leaving the Portugal camp and when he gets back to the UK, he's absolutely fine because he's within those bubbles. Now, if that's what the protocol says, there's no need for the headline of Bruno is going to miss 4 games. You know, you don't need to do that. It's just because it's a Man United base, because I've gone onto these same websites, bro, and I've gone and clicked on the Wolves tab. And the reason I picked Wolves is because Wolves have a lot of Portuguese players. There is not one headline on the Sun, the Star, the Mail, or the Express on the Wolverhampton Wanderers page about any of their players missing the Premier League games this weekend.
Right, yes, that's funny.
Because you get where I'm coming from. There's not one story on it, bruv. It's mad.
You know, it harks back to the whole Manchester United thing. You know, we're just like, we're such a big commodity. So it's like, you know, you put anything with Manchester United in the title, it's going to generate a lot of clicks. So that's what you're saying. Because naturally, Wolves have a lot of Portuguese players. Why wouldn't they face the same type of thing? That's the majority of their squad. That's what you're telling me.
Exactly. What about all the French players that came into contact?
Yeah, you got the French players and stuff like that. I've not heard anything about. Yeah, it's all a bit.
It's also nonsense as well. Think about this. So, I don't know all the players that have, but Mane tested positive, right, while at training. But everybody else in the Liverpool team was still allowed to play. Why? Because they tested negative. You know,
yeah,
it's
I don't understand what's going on.
Everyone knows how angry Man United fans are at the moment. So it's like, right, let's create even more content that's going to lead to even more frustration. The more I sit here and think about it, the more I believe it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past them. You know what I mean? I just wouldn't put it past them. Everything about us is like, it's dramatized and I wouldn't put it past them. You know what I mean? Look at yesterday with the whole. I went to call in yesterday, but I missed it. The whole Paul Scholes thing. I want to chat to you about that as well.
Go for it, mate. Have a little chat now, mate. Go on.
Yeah. You know the thing about our like legends, right? I remember. I think it was a few years ago when Jose Mourinho was managing Chelsea, and he was talking about some of the Liverpool pundits, and he was like, "Oh, you know, Chelsea, we don't have any pundits of our own on television to back us up because the Liverpool pundits, unless it's like really bad, and even then, because the whole 7-2, I saw Jamie Carragher laughing. Yeah, unless it's like generally they seem to stick together. But when it comes to our legends and the Manchester United pundits, it's a whole stream of negativity. The only person I really see bigging up our boys to no end that I can think of at the top of my head, I don't know if you can think of anyone, but it's probably Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think you're pretty much right on that, mate. I think that
he's the only one I see like celebrating like a hard, like a really like, yeah, come on. It's probably Rio. When we signed Edison Cavani, I saw him put a video about it and talked about how much.
I agree with you. I mean, even Patrice Evra, I love Uncle Pat, right? But I find with Man United ex-legends, whether they're from class of 92 or not, I'm not really that bothered by it. They have a handful of players that they back always. So it's like Paul. We know Paul Scholes loves Rashford, so he's always supportive of him. As an example, we know he doesn't. We know he doesn't really like Martial, so it's very easy for him to pop it in. I look at Patrice Evra, like the way Patrice Evra spoke about Harry Maguire. I don't think it was helpful, although a lot of people want to agree with it because it's only going to apply ridiculous pressure. I see Uncle Pat less like condemning of bad performances from, say, Paul Pogba or from Anthony Martial. As an example, I just want balance. I just want people to be really honest, like the majority of fans are that come on. Like when I look at Man United, if Rashford messes up, I shout at him. When Martial messes up, I shout at him. When Pogba does something brilliant, I praise him. You know, when Pogba does something bad, I have a go at him. I don't understand why it's so difficult for people to be balanced and not so polarized all the time. That's what I find. As you're right, the majority of the Man United ex-legend pundits are polarized. There's 4 or 5 players they love and very rarely say anything negative about, and there's 4 or 5 that they don't like. It almost feels like they're consistently downbeat about, and it is very frustrating. Very frustrating.
It's a representation of the fan base that we have as well. I mean, why can't we just like back everyone in the same vein? I don't understand it, man. And you know, it's I've got 2 things on this as well. It's like sometimes I would just prefer them to maybe say nothing. Like if you're not going to keep it 100% real, don't say anything at all. I saw Gary Neville put out a tweet when the transfer window was going on, and he was like, "Oh, why is it taking Manchester United so long to do this and do that and whatever?" And it's like, Gary, bruv, you know why? Yeah, I'm an East London Manchester United fan, and I can sit here and tell you why we are so slow in the transfer window, why we are so sloppy to get deals done. You are a Manchester United legend from Manchester. You know exactly why, Gary. Yeah, there's no point in getting on Twitter and giving all these rhetorical questions all the time. Why can't we? You know who it is. You know exactly why. If you're not going to come out and talk about it properly, just shut up, bruv. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, I hear you completely. I hear you on that. And I think we're doing a show tonight talking about this project, big picture. I've taken a day or so to read about it. We've got a financial expert and hopefully a journalist coming on to talk about it with us.
Another thing as well, that is terrible.
Yeah, and we'll chat about that more tonight. However, I've been getting DMs all day. People saying to me, "Oh, have you seen what Henry Winter said about the Glazers? He's a hero. He's a hero." And I'm like, "No, he isn't. Don't give me that." Henry Winter, yeah, he's been very scathing to the Glazers, and it's good to see. Why is he being scathing towards the Glazers? Why suddenly are everybody bothered about how bad the Glazers are? Why? Because they're proposing something which has the possibility of happening that is going to damage other people's clubs and give Man United more of a monopoly with the other top 6 clubs. So what's now happening is suddenly a Glazer action is going to be detrimental to other football clubs. And suddenly everybody's like, the Glazers are terrible. Yo, where's that energy? Forget rival fans. Where's the energy from the journalists at Henry Winter to get out there, to get the Glazers out and away from their diseased dictatorship of Manchester United? It's almost empty. They are the same people and same industry that are like, why are Man United fans moaning about the Glazers not spending money? They spent £800 million since Fergie retired. They defend the Glazers when Man United fans moan about how they run our club. As soon as the Glazers want to start basically running the Premier League or having a big control over the Premier League, suddenly, they're terrible owners. Where's your energy when they're destroying Man United? You don't have any. So I'm not praising any man for having to go at the Glazers. You're Johnny come lately, bruv. Where were you 5 years, 10 years, 15 years ago? Hush your gums, bruv.
100%. I said the same thing. It was like, because all I hear is about why are they complaining for? Look how much money they spend. When they say this, that, and the third, boom, boom, boom. Oh yeah, but now it's affecting you lot. Now you want to talk about how bad the Glazers are, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, because everything that you saw on social media beforehand was just like, that was all just us being just funny. that was all just that was us just being prima donnas about it. The nice thing
Oh,
you
with this or that. And do you know the irony in it, bruv, is this? Man United fans don't moan about the lack of. This is where, like, even the journalists. I'm not saying Henry Minter may have done multiple articles condemning the Glazers. I don't remember seeing them. If they're out there, please send them to me, and I'll apologize. I'll be waiting a while though. You know what's crazy about all of this, right? Is Man United fans don't moan that we haven't spent money since Fergie retired. We moan about the lack of investment from the Glazers. That 800 million that's been spent is generated by the club. When we say lack of investment by the Glazers, it's them putting their hands in their own pockets. And for instance, like, there'd be a lot more, I wouldn't say love, but if tomorrow the Glazers said, right, we're going to take some money out of our personal funds and we're going to clear Man United's debt off. Like, you know, at the moment, they're saying, oh, we're really struggling financially. We'll take some of your billions of pounds, pay the 400 million pound of debt we have remaining, which is a lot of money, but to you, it's affordable, so that we don't have to pay 80 million pound a year out in interest and loan payments. That one action means Man United don't even have to worry about fans turning up to games. Like, they could do that, but they're not going to do it. You know, they won't even pay 10 million of it off, let alone all of it. Like, it's just a nonsense. It makes me angry. It really makes me angry. And that's the only part of me that wants the big project thing to happen, so that everybody else can see what the Glazers are like. And then maybe, just maybe, then they'll realize what we've been suffering as owners, because everyone's like, it's funny. They're not that bad. They spend this. They're not that bad. The amount of rivals I have tell me that the Glazers are not that bad. Suddenly now, oh, no, we can't have the Glazers run football because look what they've done to Man United. But I thought they weren't bad, bruv. I thought they weren't that bad, mugs. Let's see what Gary Lineker's got to say about this after telling us that we should be behind the Glazers because they spend money. Fool. He won't like it because it's going to be damaging for Leicester. It'll be damaging for Leicester. I mean, by the way, we'll get into it tonight. The big picture project, if you're a top 6 club, it's brilliant. Like, you can't even lie. Like, if you're a top 6 club, the idea is brilliant because it just means that you're going to earn all the money. Like, you're going to earn so much more money than everybody else. You're going to have a monopoly. And I actually get why the big clubs want to have a monopoly. Why would you not? Like, think about it logically. Why would you not want to be the most powerful teams? Why do you want smaller teams coming up and being able to challenge you? You simply don't. But we'll chat about that tonight at 5 p.m. We've got some financial experts coming on to go through that. But the Glazer thing's mad, bruv. Absolutely mad. Someone here says Ed Woodward is your problem. Ed Woodward is part of the problem. The Glazers own the club. We've put Corey on the line here. Corey's with us. You're muted at the minute, Corey. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, mate.
Do you know what, Terry?
Terry, how you doing, man?
I'm definitely going to tune into that big picture talk. I want to know more about it. I've done a little bit of research myself. I want to hear what to say. So, yeah, let me just go. But, yeah, nice one, though, man.
All right, mate. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, mate. Corey, thank you very much for coming on. What you saying, bro?
Yeah, 2 things I wanted to touch on, Terry. With regard to the positive test for Ronaldo, I don't think Bruno's going to have to self-isolate, because if you remember, a few weeks ago, Mane was tested positive, and none of the Liverpool players had to self-isolate. You know, and I think he got tested like a few days after a game. You know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I think after reading these articles this morning, bro, I think the media is simply trying to create a storm in a teacup. They know Man United fans are vulnerable. They know Man United fans are angry. They know Man United fans are almost at the end of their tether in relation to everything else. In terms of playing Newcastle this weekend, if Bruno is available, would you still start Van der Beek regardless? Do you think Van der Beek needs to start?
Yeah, Terry, honestly, I don't think, especially when we're playing a team like Newcastle, I've always been of the opinion that we should start, our best player should always start. I think Pogba can play that, I wouldn't necessarily say defensive midfield, but like that holding midfield role with Bruno and Van der Beek next to him, or a little bit in front of him. You know what I mean? I think he can, especially when we're playing against these teams who are really not going to be attacking us that much. I don't know why we need Matic in the team. I would use Pogba in that position. He has the ability to hit the long balls. We have Bruno and Van der Beek in front of him, you know, and then the other 3 in front of them. I think we can do that. I would love to see all 3 of them playing together, you know, and even Van der Beek, he has that tenacity in him too, where I've seen him coming back to tackle. You know, he has that physicality about him. So personally, I would start all 3 of them. You know, that's how I would set up. But another thing I wanted to say to you about your channel, right? I love the fact that your channel is not centered around people going to games per se, and like match reactions after games and stuff like that outside of the stadium, because I think it gives you the ability to really take a stance against the Glazers and say Ed Woodward out, the Glazers out, because I see other channels like the United Stand. I'm gonna call them out on your channel here, and I do like Flex, but a month ago I saw Flex wearing the new Manchester United kit, that zebra kit. And now I see him saying Glazers out, Glazers out. I'm like, dude, you just gave Glazers your money buying that damn jersey. How now are you talking about Glazers out when they have your money in their pocket? And it's such a hypocritical thing to me, because I'm like, you're giving these guys your money, and they're trying to say, oh, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything if we don't buy the merchandise. But if everyone does it, yes, it is. You guys have they have a massive channel over there, and if they start basically maintaining the stance that, okay, we're not going to give these guys a dime of our money. We're not going to go to games. We're not going to buy merchandise. We're not going to subscribe to Manchester United, MUTV, all that stuff. People will start following them because they have a massive, massive following. You know what I mean? And I think eventually Manchester United will have to start listening to these fan channels, and they will having to start listening to fans. But when you're saying Glazers out, Woodward out, but then you're still buying the damn jersey, they don't want to hear what you have to say, bro, because all they care about is your money. So I just want to applaud you, man, because even though you're a Manchester United fan, your channel isn't established just around Manchester United. It's a football, I just like the way it's set up. I really, really admire it, man. And I think it really gives you the opportunity or the ability to really take a stance where you're not dependent on people going to the games, and doing those match reactions like outside of the stadium and stuff like that to really make your money. You know what I mean? So I just kind of wanted to chime in.
I appreciate what you're saying. What I would say about Flex, I know I think it's fact. Flex was given that shirt for free. It was sent to him by a company. I don't know who or whom sent it to him. So in terms of Flex giving his own personal money to the Glazers, in relation to that particular thing and that shirt, I don't believe he did so.
But even if he was, Terry, even if he was given the shirt by someone, why are you advertising it? You're wearing it. You're basically promoting it, and someone else can see it and then want to spend their money to buy it. You can't be Glazers out but sporting the merchandise. You know what I mean? Like you and again, we all love the club. I know it's a hard thing to do. We all love our club. We all love football. We love the club, but sometimes you have to make a sacrifice, man. If you want to see changes, you can't keep doing the same thing that you've been doing. So even if he didn't spend his money per se to buy the jersey, you're wearing it, you're sporting it, you're advertising it, you're promoting it. You know what I mean? So, and don't get me wrong, I really like the guy. I really, really like him, and that's one of the reasons why I support Rent so much. Because even though I don't agree with a lot of his opinions on certain players and certain topics, this guy puts his money where his mouth is. Like, I've seen this guy say, hey, I'm not giving these guys my money anymore. I'm not going to games because I don't like the way the club is being run. And I can really, really respect that, even though I don't always agree with his position on
look,
certain
I think you make some good points in the sense that, I've said it before, and I'm not about calling out individuals as such. I think that I've said this for a while now. I've got friends I see on Twitter. A friend of mine, she consistently tweets about how much she hates the Glazers, and then she's always buying her and her family the new kits, and then they take pictures in them, they share them, and then I read the comments from all her friends. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, they look so good on you, rare." And I feel like, well, and I know everyone's view is, well, I'm just a drop in the ocean, but of course, everybody's a drop in the ocean, and if everybody continues to act the same way, you're never going to stop things. So I do get that, but it's the same as match-going fans. I understand why you want to go and support the team, but at the same time, then there comes a moment where you think, well, if we just stopped in the short term, could we fix Man United in the long term? And we may not get rid of the Glazers, but maybe we can get some changes in play that improve things for us as a football club. And I think there's definitely got to be some sort of happy happy medium in relation to that. And as I say, Flex, as far as I'm aware, didn't himself spend his personal money on that jersey. But then I understand your challenge saying that he's still advertising it and encouraging people to wear it. You know, I saw another Man United fan on like a fan channel thing do like an unboxing of the new kit. And I'm thinking that I mean, unboxing videos are literally to advertise the product that you're buying. That's the whole point of them. You had Heavy D do it at Arsenal last year. Like he stood outside the Emirates protesting against the owners, but he'd literally just gone inside and bought the new shirt. And it's like, it falls. I think it falls flat for people when they see people trying to protest, but then going against what they believe to be true. And I understand that. And I do get where you're coming from. And as I say, look, from our point of view, the United stand are free to do what they want to do. You know, I know that KG, the comedian over there, he's trying to get something together where fan channel presenters like myself and Flex and Mark and others, Adam McCullough, kind of all come together and try and make some collective content away from all of our channels to try and push the Glazers out. What he told me is that I'm the only person that responded to him publicly and privately to say I'm up for doing it. Everybody else just kind of fell a bit silent. That's I don't know what the motivation is. Whether it's I don't want to stand too against the club, I don't want to work with those people, whatever it may be. But for me, there are individuals within the group that were connected in that tweet that I don't have any desire to work with, talk to, stand next to on a personal or professional level. But I would always put that aside for the greater good of my football club because I love my football club. And I think for me, that's the element I see as a problem here. It isn't even so much about, oh, you bought a shirt and you still have a season ticket or you still have a membership online. It's more a case of why can't you put your petty disputes aside and do something collectively to make Man United better? If you truly care about the football club, that has to come first. If that makes sense, it feels like it's like two bickering parents are going through a divorce, and their petty fight between themselves being more important than their child. That's how I view this. Like Man United, for all Man United fan channels, fanzines, the singing section, the people that make the flags, all they ever seem to do take it away from United Stand and Full-Time Devils or Stretford Paddock for a minute. I've seen the two different groups that make flags for Man United for years fight and argue each other. People attacking Pete Boyle, who gets the singing. Oh, Pete, you think you're a bigger Man United fan than us because you've invented a few songs. Oh, you think you're this because you go to all the away games. Oh, you're this because you don't go to any games. Man United fans are always in amongst it, fighting each other. And I just sit there and think, just mobilize, put the club first, put your petty arguments to the side and do what can be done to make Manchester United better. Utilize Mark Goldbridge for the positives he can spread. Utilize the fanzines for what they can spread and do it to maybe not get the Glazers out because that's hard, but maybe we can get some level of change. But the way we act right now,
we won't get them out.
Right now, it's never going to fix anything.
Yeah, I don't think we will get them out, Terry, but I think we can force change. I think these channels, it's kind of like, I don't know if they understand how big, how powerful their channels, how grand their channels are. Like, Terry, I don't even watch, the only time I'm watching TV is when I'm watching the games. I'm like, fan channel, I'm watching you, I'm watching United Stand, I'm watching Stretford Paddock. I don't really watch Stretford Paddock that much, but it's mainly you, United Stand. I watch a lot of rants. I even watch. I'm not even an Arsenal fan, but I respect and I really enjoy AFTV's content. You know what I mean?
And I understand that, bro. I understand that. I understand it.
But one last thing before if you could just let me, I want to say, I'm one of the guys who I was just like you. I was only out by December last year, but then we got Bruno. I started realizing I still didn't think we had a style of play per se, but I respect what Ali accomplished last year. I really do. So I really want to say thank you to Ali Solskjaer for what he contributed to the club last season. I personally think it's time for him to go. I think he's kind of hit his ceiling, but for what he did in just a year and a half or almost 2 years of being with us, people just have to remember, because I hear a lot of people, because I think you can beat Ali out without being disrespectful. You know what I mean? Because people just have to remember what he came into last year.
I agree, bro. And I put a tweet out this morning that shows a really good goal we scored. And I just put no system, no style, no patterns. And the response you get from some people is, and I read some of the responses out, it's like, No system to
disrespectful.
well, it's no system to escape the press and feed the ball quickly to creative players. It's just things like, well, I don't see this in every single game multiple times. Have we ever scored any other goals like this? And I'm like, listen, this is the point. Like, I don't need to. When you tweet and when you say something, you don't have to explain what you mean in granular detail every single time. Otherwise, you never get anything said. The point is could our system be more consistent? Yes. Could we create and score really good goals more often? I'd love to see it. But it's the hyperbole and the disingenuous nature of the comments when people say no system, no style, no patterns. We never do anything great. Yeah. That's a lie. And as soon as you start exaggerating your point, for me, I lose respect for you. When you say we never do anything good on the pitch, we never defend well, our system never works. That isn't true.
But let's just assume that's true. We all know that's not true. But let's just assume that's true. Just what he's done off the pitch alone. Terry, this guy got rid of Fellaini. He got rid of, we know all the guys. He got rid of Fellaini. He got rid of Ashley Young. He got rid of Valencia. He got rid of Lukaku. He got rid of, who else did he get rid of? The amount of players that Rojo, he got the low, small, Terry, all these players. The only player that he hasn't gotten rid of that we all want to go is Phil Jones. And I'm convinced he's going to die.
I almost feel like Phil Jones. They should just keep Phil Jones as the mascot now moving forward. But, bro, listen, I appreciate you coming on the show and having your say.
No problem, Terry.
Cheers, Corey. Thank you very much, mate. And we'll speak to you again soon. Take care, buddy. All the best. Great call there. And listen, allowed to express his opinions and have his views. He may see things differently to how you do, but that's part and parcel of football. Everyone tuning in right now, please smash the like button right now, please. It's really important to the Football Terrace that you get that done. Martin here says, welcome to the, Martin CFC, welcome to the Football Terrace as an official member. He signed up as an Academy member. That's amazing. So thank you very much for doing that. Really do appreciate that massively. Okay, I love some of these comments. I love reading the comments. Sometimes they make zero sense. I don't know what you're talking about when you say them. If we don't buy the shirts and the rest of the merchandise, all that we'll do is give the Glazers an excuse not to spend on transfers. It will make sure the fans feel the hits before the shareholders do. I think that's Richard. That's a really good excuse you've given there. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. Not in my opinion, anyway. It would dramatically reduce the income. The sponsors would become feeling harsh. They would look to take money away. If sponsors are looking to take money away, the valuation of the club drops. Man Utd are used as essentially an asset to secure other business ventures and back up other business ventures globally. If that commodity, if us as a commodity loses valuation, and as a going concern, we drop in valuation, share prices drop, asset levels drop, balance sheets drop, valuation drops, the less the Glazers can use us for as a football club. And the harder it is for them to negotiate new sponsorship deals, as an example, if you take money away from them. We've already seen how they've had to chop and change because of the lack of matchday revenue coming in. It would work. And I think that it could be painful for a short time. But as I say, short-term pain, 1, 2, 3 years, for hopefully long-term gain. That's the whole point. But people are not prepared to do it. They're not prepared for the shorter-term pain that could be worse than what we've actually experienced in the last 7 years to potentially gain better at the end. People are too afraid, in my opinion, to put their money where their mouth is. They just want to moan about that. And then the point I make to that is just stop moaning about the Glazers then. If you're not prepared to do anything about it, don't moan about them. That's all I personally ask for, because it's sickening to hear people moan about something, but then give every excuse possible as to not fight back against it. I just don't. I'm not about that weakness, to be honest with you. There we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care of yourselves. God bless. We'll be back later on today with more content for you. Big video coming up about 5 p.m. today, talking about the big picture project. So make sure you're tuning in for that. Very excited to sit down and go through that. We're going to have Dr. Rob Wilson on, and hopefully a journalist as well. Talking to a few of them today to come on, and we're really going to break that down in granular detail, gain your opinions on it, etc., etc. But until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.